All right, this is we're trying this new setup. I It's been a while. I actually recorded a video, like right after the inauguration, right after Elon Musk did his dual Sieg Heils, and tried to pass it off as, whatever he tried to pass it off as. I recorded a video, and my software crapped out. The file was corrupted, so it was like 15 minutes of me ranting at the camera. That I just didn't have the heart to do again because I didn't know if it was going to be corrupted again. So anyway, I got a new setup going on with 2 cameras. I don't know why, but I figure maybe with 2 cameras I'll have a better chance of not having a corrupted file, so this could actually be seen. Anyway, running new software too, so I'm capturing this in a new way. Hopefully it turns out. I've tested it already, but God knows, I hate software. Anyway, to the matter at hand. The video that I made and I want to make again is really just one of hope. I think that more than anything right now, everyone that I talk to or interact with, I really try to reassure or give some sense of hope. This is not going to be easy. We have a literal open fascist administration right now. I think that should be clear to everybody. If it's not, then start paying more closer attention, because it's been pretty clear. It was clear even before Trump was in office what he's going to do with Project 2025. They're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. But there are things that have developed alongside that I think especially are making people feel hopeless. Like the Democrats are not completely MIA, but AOC and Bernie are really the only ones, and a few select others that are actually doing anything. Where's Barack Obama? Where's Kamala Harris? They're just gone. And by the way, don't give me that excuse of, oh, well, she lost the election, so the people didn't want her. So do you think that Donald Trump would have just disappeared if he lost the election? No. In fact, we have proof of what he did after the last time he lost an election. He didn't go away. He stormed the Capitol. And there's a whole lot of gray. I'm not saying Kamala Harris needs to storm the Capitol, but there's a whole lot of gray in between storming the Capitol and doing absolutely fucking nothing and ghosting the entire country, which is what so many Democratic leaders are doing right now. It's pathetic. So the situation looks hopeless in a lot of ways. My original video that I made, I broke down reasons. I will reiterate to you why you should have hope, and I'm just going to kind of ramble at you. These are things I tell people when I'm face-to-face with them all the time. I'm just going to treat you like that. First thing I want to point out to you, something... just an intrinsic quality of fascism is just the incompetence, the sheer incompetence. Fascists are really good at failing because they are destroyers. They are the most repugnant, awful people you can imagine, because there's nothing more important to them than just soaking up power. They have abandoned all humanity and morality in pursuit of that power. This is where you get people like Hitler and Donald Trump, who are cut from the same cloth in that way. They don't care about lying. They don't care about killing. They don't care about anything except for themselves, and that's it. That selfishness makes for... there's a lot of side effects from that kind of behavior. One is that those people tend to really not work well together. They backstab each other all the time because they're not actually on the same side. They're all looking out for themselves. The only reason that they're allies is to the extent that it benefits them. As soon as it doesn't benefit them individually, they'll turn on each other. You see this time and time again. But also returning again to the incompetence, because in addition to turning on each other, they do it quickly because they make so many mistakes. The example I like to use a lot of how evil and incompetence and stupidity go together. Like, evil and stupidity are not the same thing, but there's so much that they share that a lot of times you'll see them work together. Maybe in the same person's behavior, but an fascist organization like Donald Trump's new administration that we've had for like 2 months now, I think. I don't know. They combine these two qualities really perfectly, the stupidity and the evil. The way I like to describe this, and it helps you understand the root of the problem in the fascist brain, is just racist. Like, it's simple. Or any bigotry. Let's just focus on them being racist. They literally can't conceive of a bigger version of humanity than the very narrow one that's always changing in their brains. They're small-minded. Their evil is not just a moral failing, it is a failure of intelligence. It is stupid. It's self-destructive. It's not really how human beings work. Race is not a division that matters or should matter at all. This has been shown in a myriad different ways, and they just don't care. Their minds cannot conceptualize or appreciate humanity as encompassing all races. That's just not in their wheelhouse. They can't do it. So I'm pointing this out to illustrate to you that this myth, I think, that I was taught when I went to school and I learned about Nazis and I was learning about World War II. There is this myth that fascists are super efficient and that they're just so smart and Hitler was brilliant. It's a lie. It is a myth. They are wildly incompetent. Hitler was a fucking moron and a loser in every respect. Donald Trump is an idiot. I mean, you can't get a better poster child for somebody who doesn't know fucking anything than Donald Trump, the leader, or Elon Musk. It's complete con. It's a complete con. They fail a lot. So this is something that I'm telling you this so that you can keep this in your head. They're going down one way or another. They are going down just the way the Third Reich did. Now, does that mean it's just going to happen? No, we're going to have to bring it down. But this is another... I want to introduce some elements of warfare. I was in the Army and I loved understanding how conflicts happened on a small scale, like tactically, but also how people warred with each other. We warred with the German people. And then we went into a prolonged, different war with the Russian people. Russian nation, I should say. The people really aren't that involved, but nation states. But the conflict themselves are really revealing, and I want to... There are just lessons about these conflicts that I want to impart on you and show you how, even though it's going to take a lot of work, there's a lot of reason to have hope. Number one, it's easier to fight an opponent that's wearing a uniform. It just is. It is easier to fight an opponent who's wearing a uniform. They've done that. I think if those two Zeke Hiles from President Elon Musk didn't convince you, then maybe you're not the type of person to perceive things, but that was a full-throated Nazi salute that he did twice and then didn't apologize for. So, yeah. He put his uniform on, so to speak. Speaking of this little Elon Musk Zeke Hiles, notice when Steve Bannon did it, how much more pathetic it was? That's because Steve Bannon's an American. I don't think Elon Musk realized when he did those salutes, how many enemies he made like that. I don't think he appreciates how many Americans, veterans like myself, people who had family, grandparents who fought Nazis, how much the hatred is baked in. He made legitimate enemies, Elon Musk did, which is funny to see when you see Steve Bannon do it. His is like a little more shy. I think because being an American, he knows that is putting a target on him to do something that brazen. So enemies with uniforms are easier to fight. Enemies that don't work together well are easier to fight. Enemies that are smaller or fewer than you are easier to fight. This is a classic case of conservatives really are a minority. We like to say that they're half the United States, but they're more like 30% hardcore MAGA, somewhere in there, give or take, 5%. They never do have the numbers. It's the same problem that the Third Reich had. It's the same problem that the Confederates have. There's simply more people that value freedom than people that want to lick boots and go and fight on behalf of billionaires or slave owners or tyrants, what have you. Someone who's looking to preserve their high status by using people on the lower status to go and fight for them. There just aren't as many human beings who want to do that. That's a pretty normal phenomenon you see across, not all the time, but certainly right now at this point in history. Americans, by and large, do not want a dictator. They do not want a king. That is very much baked into the American culture, and that's something that is there really is good reason to take hope from that, to see the bright side there. Being the smaller group, this oligarchy class, I'm going to call them, these ultra billionaires, or they really are oligarchs, because while we've had billionaires for a while, this new brand of techno-feudalist oligarchs is really in a lot of ways you can treat as a whole new phenomenon. I'm talking about Elon Musk, I'm talking about Jeff Bezos. But they, having so much power, they really easily succumb to hubris. They think that they really are just the smartest people that have ever graced this earth, and they're not. Like, the reality is that Elon Musk is a man that was born into privilege, leveraged that, and just kept leveraging it, and he's quite unremarkable otherwise. He's very mentally ill. The man has extraordinary personality problems, but as far as his intelligence goes, I would say he's probably about of average intelligence, and he has his charisma's in the negative. Like, he's a repulsive human being in a lot of levels. It's actually a really good lesson in how you can have all the money in the world and still be a giant fucking loser. But he doesn't think that. This hubris is a real phenomenon, and again, this is going to lead to them making a lot of mistakes. Being in an evil society means that evil people, the most qualified people are not promoted. It's the people who are the worst that are promoted. Like in an organization like the Third Reich, you literally had, how evil can you be? That's how you really climbed the ladder. How good were you at betrayal, and siding with those who already had power so that you could get some for yourself. That's the whole idea of being in an organization like that, of being in any fascist movement, is that being a part of that movement, in your mind, you think that's better than being outside it because they're going to win. When in reality, we see over and over that they very often don't win, and I don't think they're going to win this time. I think it's going to be a wake-up call for them, a rude wake-up call. And I guess the last point I want to make is just how truth has a way of bubbling up to reality. Like, as we are in the internet age, and as much as the internet is a tool for misinformation, reality has a way of catching up with the people who try to suppress it. I mean, Tiananmen Square is a perfect example, and not to mention the many crimes that the United States is guilty of. However hard they might try, what they're doing, the Trump administration, is being recorded and documented, maybe in ways that won't even become clear until after the fact, but we are in the information age, and they're really placing a heavy bet by thinking they can pull the wool over everyone's eyes again. People are... I'm not going to say that the first Trump term inoculated people. Clearly it didn't. Otherwise, if it had inoculated America, then we wouldn't be looking at a second Trump term. But the willingness to confront this naked abuse of power, I mean, you can make the argument that the United States has always just served powerful from its inception. You can absolutely make that case. But I want to just point the difference out between when there's no pretense, which is where we're at now. They're not even trying. Land of the free? No. I mean, like, they have done such a... It's one thing to have that veneer, but it's just gone now. There's no actual substance there. They're not even going through the motions really anymore. They're just straight up. It's just naked power for power's sake. That's not the worst thing in the world, because people see it for real. People that didn't want to see it or wanted to be in denial. We don't live in the United States that they had conceptualized in their mind whenever it was they were learning about the United States. They can see now this is something very different, and it's kind of a reckoning for people's idea of the world that we live in. A lot of people never had that flowery version of the world. A lot of people like myself were born after Ronald Reagan, and all we've known is an America that just runs, jumps, crushes, strangles the working class, and that's it. But for a lot of people older than me or people younger than me that are just now realizing this is a moment where a broad coalition is being constructed. And that's what's going to win this, is a broad coalition. In a war, the side with the higher number usually wins. Like most of the time, almost all the time. There are exceptions, especially in battles. There are very famous exceptions, but in wars, it's usually the side with more people. They tend to win, or the side with a bigger technological edge. And the ruling class really thinks they're on some hot shit with AI, but I'll be honest with you, I think that weapon's going to work better for us than it is for them. That's just my hunch. That's just my prediction. We'll see. Anyway, I really hope this was recorded, and I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves out there. It's only the beginning of March. I mean, March 7th. I can't believe how this year is already shaping up to be. But now that I've got this set up, I'm hoping that I can make more regular videos, just knock them out quickly, rant at the cameras, and then be on our way. This is more therapy for me. I hope this is useful to somebody. That'd be great. But for me, this really is just about expressing things in a long form way so that I am not just talking the ears off of people who don't really care in my life. Like my poor partner has to hear this stuff all the time. Anyway. All right, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you next time.